Good morning. Grandfather clock going off. Must be time. Hi, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, and I like to talk about how I've lost 97.4 pounds following a ketogenic diet and how you might be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life. Thank you for joining. This is a live broadcast. If you are seeing this and it is not between about 11 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time and about 11:30 a.m., it's not live. So sorry about that. Hope everything is going well, and I'm going to refresh my screen here just to make sure everything is going as it's supposed to be. So much technology. Today, going to talk about something that we find ourselves in regularly. It's a holiday weekend. And of course, it wouldn't be a holiday without lots of food challenges. You know, I mean, really seriously, try to think of one holiday that is just not all about the food, at least in Western culture. And this weekend, when there is a seemingly endless army of chocolate bunnies and marshmallow chicks around us, it can be really something. You know, some people find it easier to get through Thanksgiving than to get through Easter, when there's just chocolate everywhere, and other candies, and jelly beans and whatchamacallits. So how is one to get by? Well, one thing you can do is simply realize that just because it's around you doesn't mean you need to eat it. That's one thing. And then to realize that foil-colored delicacies, no matter how brightly, decorated they are and how marketed they are to us and whether they come in baskets or not, they are inanimate objects. They are things. They are not irresistible forces. We sometimes tell ourselves that they are irresistible because that can give us a way to not resist them. I mean, if that makes sense. We tell ourselves they're irresistible, ergo I cannot resist them, so I must eat them. We know that's not true. They are things. An example I gave in a little morning video in Patreon for my patrons was likened it to, I think I had a list of other inanimate objects that are also not irresistible. I think it was wicker baskets and pepper mills, pepper grinders, and I can't remember what the other thing was. But chocolate bunnies or, jelly beans or anything else or any other food that maybe is, you just feel like I can't, I'm powerless against them. Think of them. Paper towel roll. Thank you very much, Stacy. Thank you. What a good memory you have. Stacy's in the house. She's a patron. Food is not irresistible. We tell ourselves it's irresistible. Other people tell us it's irresistible. Food manufacturers tell us that their food is irresistible. What was the old Lay's potato chip commercial? You can't eat just one? Of course they want you to not just eat one. They want you to eat billions of them. So remember that the food serves a purpose, but it is not the end all and be all of our lives, or it shouldn't be. Maybe when we were sugar burners, it was more difficult to resist because our brain would have been telling us to get more glucose in there. Let me take a step back. For those of you who maybe are new to this, the ketogenic diet is one where you reduce your carbohydrate intake to a level where your liver does not push out glucose for fuel. And when the glucose is not being pushed out for fuel, our bodies happily, and efficiently switch over to burning ketones or fat for fuel. Glucose equals sugar, ketones equals fat in a very simplistic way. And our bodies do quite well burning fat for fuel. It's very efficient, more efficient than burning glucose. So that's what the ketogenic diet is. And, sorry, I think I lost my microphone. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, lost it. Whole place. Oh dear. Sorry about that. It's not very graceful, was it? When you're burning glucose for fuel, your brain really does tell you to keep eating more glucose because it can't be stored in the blood. So your brain, burns through the glucose very quickly, and it needs more. The analogy I like is when you have a campfire going. You can have a campfire which burns twigs and dried leaves and pine cones, and it will burn, but you better keep shoveling twigs and pine cones and dried leaves on because the fire is going to consume those very quickly, and you have to keep supplying it. If you have a campfire going and you throw a couple of nice aged hickory logs on it, you can throw it on there and walk away. So it's that way. When your body is burning glucose for fuel, you need to keep giving it more glucose. When your body's burning fat for fuel, you can set it and forget it, like Ron Popeil used to say. And our appetite is naturally diminished. Keep adjusting myself. So when you get to that point, food stops being so irresistible. And we start realizing, what is our phrase we like? Food is not the boss of me. I had t-shirts that said that. They sold out in a quick minute because people love the idea that food is not the boss of them. Chocolate bunnies are just chocolate bunnies. They are not irresistible. And think about this. If you do decide, it's Easter, I'm going to do it, or someone's insisting that I eat the chocolate bunny or whatever, just try to think how you're going to feel. Probably an hour later, the next day, you're going to feel terrible. The chocolate bunny will have long been gone. You're going to be left with the sugar headache, the bloated feeling, not to mention the feeling of being defeated, of letting yourself down, of having been a failure. You're not a failure. The food you eat or don't, that does not make you a failure. We need to reframe how we treat ourselves. But think about this. Think about Monday morning. And maybe for you it's Passover. In matzahs. Whatever it might be. Think about when you get to Monday morning and you have resisted the inanimate objects, also known as chocolate bunnies. How powerful are you going to feel? How validated? How proud of yourself are you going to be? Plus, no chocolate hangover. So, you can do this. And, sometimes it's not even us being around the food. Maybe the challenge is people around us saying, oh, come on, just one. Just one won't hurt. Well, it very well could. And if someone insists that you eat something that you have declined, ask yourself, why are they insisting? It might be to make them feel better about burying their face in a basket of cellophane straw and Cadbury eggs. But you can do this. Many of you have already done it. Amber Cunningham. Yeah, think about and I said it on our Patreon snippet yesterday because we're kind of tight, but I was going to avoid, she put a little emoji. You can see the emoji that she put, yeah. Piles of chocolate poop. And hey, Karen from Alaska, she's looking forward to deviled eggs. You can always have deviled eggs instead of chocolate ones. So much more filling and better for you. So here's just another little reminder that everyone who is old enough to navigate to this little chat right now has been through harder things in life than resisting treats. All of us, I don't care what it is. You know, some have gone through very traumatic and challenging personal things. Some less traumatic, but you know, when it's happening to you, it's always traumatic. It's always hard. We've all been through things. You know, some terrible stuff. So why would we think that we can't get through a weekend without eating candy? We can. And we just need to remind ourselves. Now, moving on to another topic. Some of you are members of the Keto After 40 with Casey Facebook group. The repeated questions about how to figure out how to do this is overwhelming almost. And I'm afraid I've had to become quite firm in addressing questions about the M word. Many of you know what that is. I try not to even say it. And net carbs and grams of protein and grams of fat. Say it with me, people. How you follow a well-formulated ketogenic diet for most people means 20 total grams of carbohydrate or fewer a day, eat fatty sources of protein, and don't eat if you're not hungry. That's it. There are vested interests out there in the marketplace, on the interwebs, who want you to be confused. Because if you're confused, they can try to sell you something to simplify it. They can sell you supplements or powders or shakes, pills. I'm trying to think of the other things. You know, it's make no mistake. There are many people who are in this solely for the money. We live in a capitalistic society. I have no problem with anyone making a living. Lord knows I'm happy that we make livings in our household, keeping the lights on, but not at the sake of people's health and emotional well-being. There is a connection for many of us, not only with our weight as it impacts us on a cosmetic level and how it impacts us on a health level. It impacts many of us on a mental and emotional level. Those of us who were heavy for a long time, I was very fat for 30 years. As of today, I weigh over 60 pounds less than I did when I got pregnant with our third child. And he's going to be 28 next month. Oh, wow. My husband must be getting old. As my mother said, I didn't mind becoming a grandmother, but it's irritating me that my children are becoming middle-aged. When you've been heavy for a really long time, and you've been told either explicitly or implicitly that if you have not lost weight, it's a basic failure on your part. It's a flaw in you. It hurts you when you try to get better and it doesn't work. For decades, it was because we were given flat out 100%, 180-degree opposite of the correct information. I call this the opposite diet. Do everything the opposite of what you've been told. So what happens is this very straightforward nutrition protocol, very straightforward. 20 grams of carb total not net, a day or fewer. Eat fatty sources of protein and don't eat if you're not hungry. When people complicate it, and I don't mean the people trying to be successful on the diet, I'm talking about people trying to be successful in the marketplace. When they overcomplicate it so that they can try to simplify it for you at a cost, not only are you in a position where you'll be wasting money, throwing it, instead of being able to buy good, nutritious food with it in new clothes because you're going to need them, you're spending it on kits. And kits to treat non-existent medical conditions. Eat the food. But you also stand the risk of, I tried to do it this way. I hear this a lot. People will contact me. I don't know what I'm doing everything you say. Casey, I'm following what you say to a T. I'm getting 20 grams of net carbs. I'm eating 80% of my calories from fat and 20%, 25% from protein. And I'm getting in my 1,300 calories a day. All of that, If it is working for them, then I'm not hearing from them because it's working for them. But when it's not working, and I hear that, I just have to say, well, I don't really think you've listened that much to me. You might be listening to somebody else. Maybe there's another, elderly, white-haired runt talking. But see, what happens is someone says, I'm failing. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Well, you're not doing anything wrong because it's not illegal. But the protocol does not call for that. So now you're in a position, I've bought the supplements, I've been taking the so-and-so, I've been drinking the shakes, and I'm not working. So then you start feeling like you failed again. Like you did all those years on the old way. Well, if you would just have more willpower, you'd lose weight. Just move more, eat less. And if you're not, there's a flaw in you. Well, people who are trying to capitalize on this through selling not only ineffective, but sometimes harmful products, harmful to being successful, counterproductive, let me say that, products, put you in a position of being right back where you were before. Oh, I'm failing again. That's not right. That's taking advantage of people's desperation and wish to be better. And that's as old as the hills. That's as old as the hills. It used to be back in the old days, snake oil salesmen would take and they'd sell an elixir that would cure you of all your ills. But it really was just alcohol. People got drunk, so they, I don't feel bad now at all. Snake oil. So anyway, why do marketers complicate it? So they have something to sell you. I can sell you things, I do, but they're not about food, and they're really for fun, and there's not a big profit in them. They're fun. Go Keto with Casey t-shirt. By the way, about 3 sizes are sold out. Go Keto with Casey food journal, or diary, or gratitude journal, or let me write down witty comebacks the next time someone says a snarky comment to me. Or a grocery bag, huge, insulated grocery bag. Says this bag is a carb-free zone. Fun items, calendars, a saying a day thing to keep you going. Find tools that actually help you, but you don't need to buy any special food. People are slapping keto on everything. A couple of years ago was paleo was everything. Now it's kind of flipped over. The same manufacturer's calling it keto. When they get their new shiny object, they'll be calling it something else. I don't know, the subterranean diet. Maybe that'll come out. Instead of Mediterranean, it'll be the subterranean diet where you're only supposed to eat grubs. I don't know. Something else will come along. But this works. And hashtag my friend Jen is in the house. And can I tell you, Jen, may I share your little victory that you shared with me yesterday? And while I'm waiting on Jen to answer that question, can I, Jen? Please. there are victories. And for those of you who don't know, there's the NSV, non-scale victories, which sometimes are the absolute best. Sometimes they, no pun intended, outweigh the scale victories. Okay, so hashtag my friend Jen, I may share something. So I won't show you the photograph, but she texted me a photograph of herself from 1978 in the cutest cheerleader's outfit with her victory stance. She was, it was on one knee and rah, 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 and, sweater and skirt and knee socks. Cute. The next photo I got was her in the same position, in the same exact cheerleading outfit from 40 years ago. And can I tell you, she looks trimmer in it now than in the photograph from 40 years ago. The next photograph was her in her wedding dress, and she was rocking it. She had gone through some stuff, and she fits beautifully. Probably the wedding dress is looser on her than the day she got married. So, what a victory. To fit into what you wore as a teenager, or an adolescent maybe even. So, I love those victories. Save your money. Don't buy the pills or the cookies or the baked goods or I don't even know. And it's getting really, really wild out there, man. It's upsetting to me, actually. Hey, Denise Martinez. Denise, may I share with the world what a Wonder Woman you are? I do not want to put your business on the street. Many of these folks, the reason I know they are because many of them are patrons. And so we get to visit together a lot. As a matter of fact, today I've got a group chat at noon, in just about 40 minutes of patrons. We do about 4 or 5 times a month. We do video group chats and live streams. Denise, may I share? May I share? Because I think I'm so impressed with Denise. I'm looking to see whether I'm allowed. Oh, maybe she said yes. Okay, Denise has lost, I don't know, how much weight have you lost, Denise? Is it 80 pounds? 90 pounds? Over the last, I don't know, however long it is. 14 months, 15 months. Denise received a, talk about challenging, website. Someone just said website. Do I have another group? I'm going to say Denise's story. Denise received diagnosis of cancerous tumor on her kidney. And they were going to go in and excise the tumor, and they ended up excising her kidney. So she lost a kidney, huge surgery. So, and it was a big deal. It was hours of surgery. And those of you who have had hours-long surgeries, you bring you out of anesthesia and a few hours later, and it's very, rough. And so they wanted to get her something on her stomach. So they bring her some crackers just to have something on her tummy. And she, groggy Denise, I'm picturing this, I wasn't there, coming out of, crackers. Oh, no, I don't eat carbs. I can't eat, no crackers. So they said, whoa, okay. How about some 65 pounds, Denise shares. She's all 65 pounds. How about Jell-O? She's, cracks and ions. Is it sugar-free? She was not going to eat carbs. She asked for the special IV bags, right, Denise, that don't have the whatever it is, dextrose. There are a lot of nurses in the group, and so they'll know what I'm talking about. Oh my goodness, Courtney Graves, 11 months, MS in remission. Those are amazing stories. Amazing stories. By the way, as far as we know, Denise is okie dokie. The surgery was just about 10 days ago, but she's doing great. I'm going to look at some of these comments now because I flew last week for the first time ever. Rats. Couldn't see it. I think somebody asked if I have a website. Yeah, I have a website, CaseyDurango.com. And I don't have another group. There's a Go Keto After 40 with Casey group. And then there's this Go Keto with Casey Facebook page and my blog, and then I have a YouTube channel. But Patreon is a private group. There's patron-only content, and it's a plug for Patreon. I'm not going to lie, because patrons support the content. Well, I wouldn't sell food products. I wouldn't do that crap anyway. I just wouldn't. I'd go back into real estate before I do that. But they make it possible for me to keep going. So thank you to the patrons. Oh, yes, okay, Denise, yes, no dextrose in my IV bags. Ask for it, folks. And there's a story, Dr. Mark Cucuzella in Ranson, West Virginia, has finally gotten his hospital, he's a family doctor. The hospital up there will no longer serve or sell sodas or sweet drinks to patients, staff, or visitors. So bit by bit, person by person, doctor by doctor, clinic by clinic, hospital by hospital, and eventually the food manufacturers will figure out that they got to change their ways. Rena Treadway Morgan, keto saves my life. Okay, Denise says, I'm doing okay, still sleeping in my recliner, tried the bed last night and only lasted 2 hours. And I've had a couple of big time surgeries, and I was laid up for a better part of a year with a couple of them. And one of them, I stayed for 7 weeks in the recliner, and I had to be very immobile because of the tubes and everything. What a drag. What a drag. Yeah, yes, I had to sleep sitting up. Thank you, Maitri. Hey, Maitri is a patron. Thank you so much. Now, does anyone have, let's do a Ask Me Anything. Okay, Priya asks, from keto to low carb when near my goal, is it okay? Whatever works for you, Priya. I continue to be keto. I'm never going to change. And I'm pretty much, I would like to lose a few more vanity pounds. 5 more pounds. I'm not worried about it if I don't. I do weigh less today than I did this day last year. That's always fun, even though it's just 0.2 of a pound. I love that. You do what works for you. But I'm going to stay this way, not only for weight, because the weight is not the thing, necessarily. Not having an MS episode, people have reported that their lupus flares have either been not eliminated, but are far fewer and much lighter. People get off their asthma inhalers. What else? Oh, and forget about the biggie, type 2 diabetes. Now, if you are a type 2 diabetic and you are taking medication to help control your blood sugar, if you are going to do this, you must do it under a doctor's supervision, because the medications can become, it can be rough. You don't want your blood sugar dropping too quickly, too low. So if you're taking medications, do it under a doctor's supervision. Jessica Beard, hey Casey. Hey Jess, you beautiful young woman. I've lost 60 pounds since my son was born in May. Keto helped me lose weight without relapsing from an eating disorder. Oh my God, Jess, I'm so happy for you. And I miss your mom. I was going to reach out to her the other day. And Jess is one of the most physically beautiful young ladies you will ever meet. Congratulations. Kumal Culver Day. My cholesterol was at 190 after 6 months on keto. Oops, missed it. It went somewhere. It went far away from me. I am sorry. I'm not going to play around. Every time I click on something, something else freezes. So I'm sorry. I'm just have to let that go. Which Pamela? Which Pamela? Which Pamela? Is it Pam? Is it Pam? From Burbank? Because I missed her too. I've been wondering about her. Not keto, but you always... Epilepsy. Okay, it went to 300. Cholesterol, the overall cholesterol number is essentially useless. I'm going to have to go back and make sure I get the quote right, but Zoe Harcum, during a lecture, said, it's that overall number is a mathematical equation based on 5 factors, 2 of which can't be measured. And that might have been hyperbole, but the overall number is useless. And frankly, when we mobilize fat for fuel, remember that the fat cells have lots of things, not just fat in them. They have hormones, they have cholesterol, and we need cholesterol in every single cell of our body. If we didn't have cholesterol, we would drop dead in a minute, seriously. So I wouldn't worry about that. What you want to pay attention to, and it can take months for this to become normalized, you want to lower your triglycerides in relation to your HDL, okay? Once again, metabolic syndrome or the risk factor for cardiovascular disease is considered when you have 3 out of these 5 situations. 3 out of 5. High blood sugar, high blood pressure, large waist circumference, high triglycerides, and low HDL. If you have 3 out of those 5, you are considered at higher risk for cardiovascular troubles. I'm going to say it again. High blood sugar, high blood pressure, high triglycerides, large waist circumference, and low HDL. You notice overall cholesterol numbers not in there anywhere. And keep in mind, you can have 4 out of those 5 and not have the large waist circumference. You can be a trim person and be at a higher risk. So you want your triglycerides to go low, your HDL to go high. And, okay. From a different Pamela. I've been looking for, microphone again. Been looking for a Pamela, our friend from Burbank. Message is going by very quickly. Okay. And Stacy has shared a YouTube. Maybe it's about cholesterol. I don't know. People are really afraid, and doctors are afraid, and shame on them. The information is now all over the place about the cholesterol, and here's what it was thought. It was the bad science. It was thought high fat diet equals high cholesterol equals heart attack. It's simply not true. That was just based on crap science for self-serving purposes of those involved. Wanda, great. Wanda is fantastic. Wanda's lost over 100 pounds. She has AFib, and she has just taken the bull by the horns. She has taken control of her health. Congratulations to you, Wanda. Helena, is that your Katie? We had a great time meeting each other, many of us, in Greensboro, North Carolina, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And it was great. The Go Keto with KC Road Show. Hoping to do it in the Pacific Northwest this fall, but we'll see. And to meet everyone face to face, hear stories. Some of these stories are amazing. When Helena got up and not only shared her weight loss, but then shared the list of medications she's not taking anymore. Fabulous. Okay, Courtney, thank you for sharing. You are welcome. You have a lovely Easter as well. My tree, thank you. My breakfast looked great. It was yummy. And Wanda shares, everything's better. I can function again. No more zombie. That's pretty good. Oh, does anyone have a question for me specifically? Or, thank you, Jen. It was a fabulous time. A question for me, and Allah, ask me anything. You can ask me anything. I promise to answer honestly, or say, thank you, but I don't answer that question. Like, I don't answer how much do you weigh. I don't answer that question. All blood workers are 0 cholesterol, down 68. 0 cholesterol? I don't think you can have 0 cholesterol. I would worry about you if you had zero cholesterol. Jen says, shout out to everyone that attended the roadshow. Being off psych meds is a miracle, and I'm doing great. That's my tree. She has come off psych meds, and there are others who can share that they've come off their psychiatric meds. What do you think about legumes and beans? Well, I think they're perfectly nice for some people, but they are not on the food list. They are high in starch, and they are not keto. But you do what you want. Okay, great. I meant not high cholesterol, LOL. Yeah. What causes fatty liver? Carbs. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. If you have alcoholic fatty liver, then that's a whole other conversation. Some people think, ooh, I'm going to eat all that fat. My liver will get fatty liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. No, this is actually an effective treatment for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So, yeah, sugar causes fatty liver. Keep in mind, y'all, carbs and sugar are the same thing. Carbs from a whole grain slice of bread, carbs from a donut, carbs from table sugar, carbs from agave syrup, carbs from pasta, carbs from rice. Carbs are carbs. It's not there. There are three macronutrients. There's fat, protein, and carbs. There's not fat, protein, and whole grain and sugar. And it's not carbs are not broken up into. There are three macronutrients. As far as your liver is concerned, it all, when you eat carbs and sufficiently, to the point where glucose is coming out, as far as you're concerned, it's all simple sugar in your body. Beans, pasta, rice, potatoes. Always make sure it's not one of my kids. Fructose is the worst thing for your liver. Sugar is bad for your liver. Yes, and fructose is terrible. It's actually sweeter than sugar. Dr. Robert Lustig has fantastic lectures on this, and he's really gone out in front of this for years. If you get a chance to read or see him lecture, do so. Denise, I reversed my fatty liver disease eating keto. Marcia asks, are there specific vitamins you recommend? Nope. We have multivitamins around here from Costco. Nope. There are others that say, yes, you must supplement with this. All I can tell you is that this is a very nutrient-dense way of eating. And, it's high in B12. It's high in iron. If you do take a supplement, make sure it does not have added iron, because you can actually get too much iron, and that condition can be, is called, oh, Lord have mercy, hemochromatosis, which sounds like a Dr. Seuss disease. Thoughts on Swerve to make a cheesecake? Artificial sweeteners. You want to get people yelling at you on the interwebs? Tell them you use Splenda. We use Splenda. It's perfectly fine. Some people don't like the taste of it. Some people say that artificial sweeteners trigger cravings. If they do, don't use them. Some people say that it stalls them. If you feel like it does, don't use them. But other than that, get one you like. Xylitol will tend to make me head out of ketosis. It's the way my body is, so I don't use it. Bacon is my supplement. Ha ha, Jen. Hey, Cindy, glad you're here too. What exactly is keto? LOL, thank you. Is that a joke? Because I do get that question a lot. 20 grams or fewer total, just in case you're not joking. 20 grams of carbohydrate, which for those of you who eat vegetables, and you don't have to, there is no minimum number of vegetables you must eat a day. There is no minimum number of vegetables you must eat a day. There is no minimum number of vegetables you must eat a day. Rather, there's a maximum, because almost all of your carbs are going to come from vegetables, and no starchy vegetables. As a general rule, nothing that grows below the ground, because those things that grow below the ground, their job is to store starch, to store sugar for the greens that grow above the ground. So no carrots, no beets, no potatoes of any kind, no sweet potatoes. There are exceptions. But there are no minimum vegetables. If you do eat vegetables, a good rule of thumb is eat about the size of one fist, or about a cup of non-starchy vegetables, and about 2 cups of leafy greens. Bingo. There's no vegetable that you may eat in unlimited quantities on keto. There's somebody around saying that. And, not sure where that came from. Amber, Denise, I'm worried. I'm 36 and have been doing low carb for a few years. Went to keto recently, hoping for less inflammation and fibrosis. Why are you worried? You don't have to drink a lot of water. I'm struggling to drink a lot of water on keto because I feel too full. Why? Well, because water takes up a lot of space. A lot of space. Drink when you're thirsty. Eat when you're hungry. But I've actually flipped that. I've started saying don't eat if you're not hungry, because it's a small thing, but the eat when you're hungry starts with the word eat. Don't eat if you're not hungry starts with don't eat. Don't arbitrarily avoid eating if you're actually hungry. Do what works for you. I'm just sharing what worked for me. Kathy Figler, hi Casey, newbie here. I see that you incorporate alcohol in your day. Have you done this since the start or added it over time? Seeing contradictory information about alcohol, is this okay for anyone? Okay, I enjoy a cocktail. Spirits don't have any carbs. Alcohol is fine. Obviously, don't start drinking alcohol just because you can. If you don't, you don't have to drink. And as always, drink responsibly. If you are someone who can't hold your liquor, don't drink. But there are special rules for alcohol. Let me tell you why. Your liver must process the alcohol before it can do anything else. It rightfully sees the alcohol as a toxin. So it must process it. So it kind of just puts fat burning to the side for a minute. But again, if you're not drinking to excess, if you're not in the beautiful social lobby of the O. Henry Hotel listening to jazz and sitting there with your hashtag my friend Jen, after a busy day at a road show, you have to count your drinks. What stays at the road show? What happens at the road show stays at the road show, I guess. So, and somebody say, well, it must have carbs. Wine is made from grapes. The alcohol, through the fermentation process, eats the sugar. Same way that that yogurt, even though it's made from whole milk, the fermentation process to give it that tang eats the lactose. So it's a little bit of science there. So there you are. Love that you indulge in a glass of wine. Do you count that towards your carbs? No, I don't. But let me also tell you, I am so low carb that if I wanted to, if I was going to calculate it, I could. But I'm so low carb. Patrons get to see the occasional plates of the food we have around here. And this morning, mine was 4 breakfast link sausages and 2 runny yolk fried eggs in a lot of fat, a lot of bacon fat. And so there's no carbs. And that'll probably hold me. And Jen says, oh, such good memories that was. Marcy McCauley says, I drink wine most nights. I'm happy with my results so far. So there you go. How do you make your own yogurt? Actually, I have a video on that on YouTube. It's super easy. So I don't have it right off the top of my head, but you can go to my YouTube channel and search yogurt. You have no idea the impact you've had on me. I've gone from feeling so overwhelmed with all the must-do keto things that I was causing me to go backwards. Your words are liberating, and I thank you. I'm just under 500 pounds and just beginning my keto adventures. Catherine, thank you for writing that. That is one reason I do this. My life has been changed for the unbelievably better. And I just like talking about this. As a matter of fact, one of my swag things is this little stemless wine glass that says all I want to do is drink wine and talk about keto. But it is so frustrating to see how, I don't know, almost militaristic some of the people who talk about this are. How absolutely, my way or the highway. Now, on the Keto After 40 with Casey group, because many people are searching answers, I have become stricter about, I'm doing this and I do it with 60 net carbs and I'm doing great. Well, I'm probably going to delete that. It's just too confusing. So on the Keto After 40 with Casey, I'm trying to keep it as unconfusing as possible. So I'm just deleting things. I'm sorry if that offends anyone. Keto is the answer. Hey, Mark. Hey, Mark O'Connor. Mark and his wife have had unbelievable success as well, and his wife, Jean. And it's just the food. It's just the food. Hey, Jackie. I love seeing all these people here. Thank you so much for joining. Anyone else have a direct question for me? Seriously, need that wine glass? Well, I think there are only 3 left of the wine glasses. You can see that the swag tab at my website. Is a fat whoosh a real thing or hoopla? Can't find an answer. It's not a fat whoosh. Losing inches without losing pounds is a thing. Here is a very simplistic explanation that I think works. So say Casey's got all these fat cells. She's had them for a long time. She's lost 10 pounds before, whatever, and then it came right back on. And so, the fat cells got emptied out for the most part that time, but, she got fat again, so it came back up. Well, in nature abhors a vacuum as well. So your fat cells go out this time, and they kind of linger and say, let's, for one thing, we got these cells that are kind of vacuumed out. Let's get some water and put in there. So they will draw up water. But the water, while it weighs the same as fat, takes up less space. Just like a pound of feathers might take up, an entire pillowcase, and a pound of lead takes up very little, or an ounce or a gram, whatever you want to say. So, but then after a while, it's like, okay, we're sitting here, water's doing its job, a placekeeper, because we know the fat's coming back. She's done this so many times. And then after a while, it's like, hey, all you cells filled up with water, I don't think the fat's coming back. I think she means it this time. Okay, water in the fat cells, you're relieved of your duty. Whoosh. That's my understanding. You know what? Okay, Candy, what are my thoughts on apple cider vinegar capsules? No. Beneficial? Why? If you want apple cider vinegar, get some. There's no magic. See, this is what happens. Manufacturers grab on to one thing and then they go. No, if you want apple cider vinegar, get some and throw it on your salad. Drink a tablespoon of it. If you're trying to get the benefits of it, I'm not, of the gut biome and making sure there are good things in there. Fermented foods are supposed to be good for your gut. Get some apple cider vinegar and drink some. Been on keto for 1 week, haven't lost any weight, but feeling so much better. That is the point. That is what you want to do. Tony, love you and all you do for us. Thank you. Love your website and Facebook page. Great info. So inspiring. You are, well, thank you so much. What is the difference between Bulletproof coffee and Smart coffee? Again, this is marketing. Bulletproof coffee is a term that Dave Asprey coined. It's just a bunch of fat loaded into your coffee, which is not unlike, if you have a latte, that's a lot of fat in your coffee if you use heavy cream. Bulletproof coffee, some people use it with butter and or MCT oil, which I will never buy, and or heavy cream. Smart coffee, it's marketing. If you're in keep in mind, if you're consuming, if you're drinking the fat that your body needs for its energy requirements for the day, it doesn't need to access the fat stores on your tuchus. I want to access all my fat stores, so I don't want to drink the fat. Okie dokie. I guess we better start winding down, and I do in 10 minutes have a patron-only group video chat, so I need to get ready for that. Stacy, BPC or Bulletproof coffee kept me fluffy. I quit and then boom, weight loss. Yeah, see, it's not the presence of fat that is important. It is the absence of carbs. It's not the presence of fat in your diet that will help you lose weight. It is the absence of carbs. You don't have to push fat. Just eat the fat that comes with your protein sources. What does that mean? Eat eggs with the yolk. Eat steak with the fat. Eat bacon with the fat. Eat chicken, poultry with the skin. Eat it as close to the way nature made that animal as possible. You might want to skin it first or pluck it first, but eat it as close to its original state as you can. What are my thoughts are on OMAD, 1 meal a day, and what can you drink during that time? I have a real problem with this strictured, feeding window, only restrictive thing, and can I drink? Eat when you're hungry and drink when you're thirsty. There's nothing magical. I eat generally 1 meal a day because that's what I eat, but not because I'm forcing myself. Some days I eat 3 meals. It just depends on my energy needs in that day. So, this is another gimmick. OMAD, 1 meal a day. Eat when you're hungry. Don't eat if you're not hungry. I don't care whether it's 8 a.m., 3 p.m., 10 p.m. And of course you can drink. Here is what happens if you get if you get so structured on, oh my gosh, I'm only going to eat between this and this, or I'm only going to eat 1 meal a day to be successful. You know what happened to me? I start having intrusive thoughts of food. I get hungry, and then all I can do is think about food. I don't want that anymore. I'm done with it. I'm done with the thinking about the food. Okay, Rosa, adios. Thank you for giving me the hook. No, you won't see me Tuesday. Mark, I guess you're talking about Durham? No, I'm not doing the Durham meetings with anymore. I've been replaced. It is now a Heal Clinic sponsored event, and a Heal employee is there. I am not. But I am doing the 9th of April in Greensboro at Wine Styles. I'm having a Greensboro Go Keto with Casey info and support meeting on April 9th. No, I will not be at the Durham meeting anymore. Okay, see you. And some of you patrons, I'll see you in just a bit. 7 minutes to go. Have a great one. See you soon. Keep your carbs 20 grams or fewer a day. Eat fatty sources of protein and don't eat if you're not hungry. And don't be confused. It is easy to be confused, but just try to keep it simple. Have a great weekend, everyone. Y'all are the best.